Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, O Lord. At that time, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha received him into her home. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. One thing is needful. Mary has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. I had a smile when I was going through the readings, especially the first reading. There's Abraham, and he sees some people who he'd like to entertain, and so he invites them into his home, and he says, we'll make some provisions for you. And they say, very well, do as you have said. And then he rushes inside and he says to the wife, get these things ready. And he rushes off to the servants and says, get those things ready. And everybody is rushing around except Abraham. And I think that's so true in much of life. We have certain preferences and things that we like, and everybody else seems to be doing the busy except us who initiated the event. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens a fair amount of the time. Sometimes the event is initiated of our own doing. Like Martha, she invited Jesus into her home. There are many things that come into our life and things that busy us which are of our own doing. Much of the things that require our time, we've embraced them. We've allowed them. And we get to a space in our life when we feel overextended, overcommitted, overwhelmed. Where are we in that regard at this time in our life? Someone had to make the tea. Someone had to make the tea. And so there are some things and many things that we have committed to and that we are involved in are things that have to be done. Someone has to do them. Some of us feel, and this may be the reality in our home, if I don't do it, no one else will do it. That's kind of the climate that has pervaded our homes and families. Now, if I don't do it, no one else will do it. If no one sweeps the veranda, if I don't sweep it, no one will sweep it. Yeah, I'm sure you know that reality. Yeah. And friends, that kind of reality places a lot of strain on a lot of people. And things that should be a joy are done angrily. And things that should be perceived as a privilege in doing them become filled with burden. And things that should be done with a grateful heart are now done with resentment. So maybe if we were to look at our lives at this time, in these spaces, with these commitments, these things that have to be done, do we see them as a burden? Are they filled with resentment? Do they evoke anger? Or are there moments of privilege or joy? Is there gratitude in having the ability to serve? I read something the other day. It said something like this, and it was powerful. It says there is something worse than having too much to do. There is something worse than having too much to do. It's having nothing to do. Or something to do of little importance. There is something worse than having too much to do. It's having nothing to do. Or little to do of least importance. And so, friends, I put this before us today. For those of us who are able to do something, you should regard that as a privilege. I am able and I'm capable to do something. It should be a source of joy as opposed to anger. It should be done from a place of gratitude rather than resentment. We are in a privileged position to serve. For there is something worse than having too much to do. It's having nothing to do. And that time will come. That time will come when we have nothing to do or little to do of any real importance. It is rumored that St. Vincent de Paul said this: "It is more blessed to give than to receive, and it is a whole lot easier." It is more blessed to give than receive, and it is a whole lot easier. When I first read that, I didn't understand what was being said. I understood the part of it's more blessed to give. I understood that part. But the easier part, I didn't quite get it initially. And then I realized from my own life, beside the blessing component, I find it very easy to give. I do. I find it very easy to give. I find it very hard to receive. I battle to receive anything. My nature and my way of life, which I think is that of many of us, we are giving people. We give easily. Sometimes joyfully, most times joyfully. But we don't know how to receive. And I think what the scriptures are saying to us today is, yes, continue being giving people, generous people. But know that there is a need to receive as well. And who better to receive from than the Lord Jesus? Friends, because you know and I know in all our giving, even in the simplest task at home, the mundane chores, they come from deep within. It is something inside us that moves us to give. And so the receiving that we need is not gifts or pats on the back. The receiving that we need needs to be of substance that nourishes us deep within spiritually so that we can continue giving with joy. And so again, in my life and in your life, how's it that we can bring the balance? To be giving people, yes, but also to make time to receive, time and spaces to be replenished in the Lord. Now, some of us are giving people. Others are receivers. You know that. Some people have no problem receiving. They can park on a couch the whole day. They have no problem with that. And if that is my general thrust, then I need to look at myself and see, because I'm a receiver, is my nature making life burdensome for other people? And is it fair? Is it fair? And what can I do? What can I do Yes, by nature, I'm a receiver. Like by nature, some of us are givers. What can I do to help out a bit more? Help out a bit more. So that there can be balance in our lives and balance in our homes and balance in our church. That there can be joy instead of anger. Gratitude instead of resentment. And where the privilege of being able triumphs instead of burden. Many years ago, I would often hear this question being asked. I haven't heard it for a long time, long time. But the question was something like this. If you had the chance of living your life again, what would you change? Maybe think about that. If you had the chance of living your life again, what would you change? You answer that for yourself. I've heard most people, the answers I've heard from some people, most people, they wouldn't change too much. They wouldn't change too much. But some have said they would try and enjoy life more. They try and enjoy life more. They wouldn't change their life, or who they married, or how many kids they had. But they try and enjoy life more. I just heard last night after Mass, someone said to me, if I had the chance of living my life again, I would have surrendered to Jesus a whole lot earlier in my life. That was powerful. If I had the chance of living my life again, I would have surrendered my life to Jesus a whole lot earlier in my life. Friends, we don't have the privilege of living this one again. We don't. And so that we think we would do if we get a chance to live it again, let's start doing it now. Start doing it now. A life of balance, where there will be extremely busy moments and demanding activities which drain us. But we also need to create those moments where we are replenished, renewed. And who better to renew us than the Lord Jesus himself?